Good morning, friends. After design of one-way slab, cantilever slab, and two-way slab, now we'll start with design of singly reinforced section, that is design of beam. But before starting the design of beam, we have to analyze, that is what is required, what are the assumptions made in the design of singly reinforced sections, what is the criteria for it, for designing in limit state, we must know. So we'll start with the analysis of singly reinforced section, and afterwards we'll start with the design of singly reinforced beam by using limit state method. So in first step, we'll start with analysis, that is limit state. What is limit state? The limit state is nothing but it is the acceptable limit. It is the acceptable limit for the safety and serviceability of the structure before failure occurs is called as limit state. That is, limit state is nothing but it is the acceptable limit for the safety. That safety in terms of cracks, fatigue, or it should be breaking or anything, or serviceability, that is we can provide the serviceability condition, that is deflection is maintained. Such type of serviceability of the structure before failure occurs is called as limit state. The structure will not become unfit, or limit state can be also defined as the structure will not become unfit for use and will not reach a limit state. It is known as limit state. So types of limit state. There are mainly three types of limit state. In that, limit state of collapse, second one is limit state of serviceability, and third one is limit state of durability. In limit state of collapse, it includes axial load. That collapse should be occurred due to axial load, or it due to flexure or bending, or shear or torsion. That limit state of collapse includes axial load, flexure or bending, shear and torsion. While limit state of serviceability includes deflection and cracking. And in limit state of durability, it includes natural disasters, that is rain, floods, earthquake, etc., fire, corrosion. These are the limit state of durability. In that, the main limit states are limit state of collapse and limit state of serviceability. In that, we will start with limit state of collapse, and for that we can see first the grades of concrete and steel. For concrete, IS 456 2000 specifies 15 grades of concrete as from M10 to M80. Here M stands for mix and the number stands for specified characteristic strength of 150 mm cube at 28 days curing. The characteristic strength is defined as the strength of the material below which not more than 5% of the test results are accepted to fall, or 95% results are good. This is the characteristic strength. Then the most commonly used grades of concrete for our RCC structure in regular use are M20 to M30, while the minimum grade of concrete prescribed by IS 456 2000 is M20 for RCC and M10 for PCC, that is plain cement concrete, and RCC is reinforced cement concrete. Then grades of steel, as we know, in one-way slab, two-way slab, or cantilever slab, we have used mild steel or Fe250 or Fe415 or Fe500. These are the grades of steel. Now, while designing any limit state of collapse in flexure, certain assumptions are given, and these assumptions are very important while designing the beam structure. So you must know these assumptions in design for the limit state of collapse in flexure. So first assumption is plane sections normal to the axis remain plane after bending. So this is very important. The plane sections which are normal to the axis will remain plane after bending. It is not possible, but we have to assume it that plane section normal to the axis remain plane after bending. Second one, the maximum strain. Strain is nothing but it is a change in length upon original length. This strain, that is elongation or deformation, is also known as strain. The maximum strain in concrete at outermost edge is 0.0035 in bending. This is very important. The relationship between the compressive stress distribution in concrete and the strain in concrete may be assumed to be in the shape of a rectangular or trapezoidal or parabola or any other shape specified by the structural engineer. For design purpose, the compressive strength of concrete in structure shall be assumed to be 0.67 times the characteristic strength, that is 0.67 Fy. The partial safety factor of 1.5 shall be applied in addition to this. The tensile strength of concrete is ignored since concrete is not applicable for tensile strength. It takes only compression. The stresses in the reinforcement are derived from stress strain curve for the type of steel used, and for design purpose partial safety factor of 1.15 should be applied. The next one is there is perfect bond between steel and concrete right up to the failure of the RC sections. Next one, the maximum strain in the tension reinforcement in the section at failure shall not be less than strain in steel ultimate, that is Fy upon 1.15 ES, that is ES is the Young's modulus for steel, plus 0.00 to where Fy characteristic strength of steel, ES modulus of elasticity of steel, and it is taken as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. This is strain. The stress strain relationship of concrete and steel. This graph is for steel grade. This is along x direction strain is given, along y direction stress is given. This is the graph for mild steel, and this value Fy upon 1.15, this factor of safety is applied, and it comes to be 0.87 Fy. For concrete, this is a parabolic 0.67 FCK upon partial factor safety, it comes to be 0.45 FCK. This is for concrete. This is strain along x direction, this is stress along y direction. The graph is parabolic up to the strain 0.002, and it is maximum or it remains constant at the level of 0.0035 strain. So this is the stress strain diagram for single reinforced section. This is a cross section of beam. This is the width B of the beam. This is the overall depth. This depth is overall depth. By printing mistake, this is shown as small d. Actually, this is capital D. The effective depth is from top up to the center of the bar. This is the effective depth, and this is the overall depth. Then this is strain in compression side, that is concrete. This is neutral axis XU. This is lever arm. A, this value 0.45 FCK, it is taken from the graph of concrete. Then this compression will act at the neutral axis of this total area, that is addition of this rectangular area plus this parabolic area. This compression force is acting. This is the neutral axis ZU. This is the distance of compressive force from top is taken as 0.42 XU, and these all values are calculated below. That is, by similar triangle we can use this triangle. This is a bigger triangle, in that there is a smaller triangle. By using the property of similar triangles, we can calculate this distance A, this neutral axis XU, put all these values here, and this A, this distance where the strain is 0.002 is 0.57 XU. XU is the neutral axis of the section. Then maximum compressive stress in concrete 0.57 FCK upon partial factor of safety for material is 1.5, that comes 0.466 FCK, nearly 0.45 FCK. These values are very important while designing a beam section. Now total compressive force Cu acting at the neutral axis. So for that, consider the stress block, that area of stress block, that is area of triangle plus area of parabola, that gives 0.45 FCK XU minus A plus 2/3, that is area of parabola is 2/3 base into height, and that total value is 0.36 FCK XU into B. This is a compressive force acting on the beam. You must know all these things. Then total tensile force, again by property of symmetry of triangles, this total tensile force TU is equal to 0.87 FY AST. In neutral axis, equating CV and TU, that is compressive force total tensile force 0.36 FCK BXU is 0.87 FYAST. XU is equal to 0.87 FYAST upon 0.36 FCK B. These are the formulas. From similar triangle, again we can calculate the XU max, value of XU max, and that XU max is 0.53D. These values are directly given in the problem, so don't bother about this. Directly take these values. For Fe250, XU max is 0.53D. For Fe415, XU max is 0.48D or 47D. You can consider 48D. For Fe500, XU max value is 0.46D. D is here, and the strain is limited to this much. So only important is that for Fe250, XU max is 0.53D. For Fe415, XU max is 0.48D. For Fe500, that XU max is 0.46D. So this order is decreasing, that is 0.53D, 0.47D, 0.46D. Fe250, 415, this value is increasing and these values are decreasing. This is important. So remember like this. Now there are certain sections in beams, that is balance section, underimposed section and overimposed section. So what is a balance section? A balance section is a section where the steel provided in the section is same as that the steel required. Such section is a balance section. While underimposed section is a section where the steel provided is less than the steel required for balance section. That is underimposed section. And overimposed section, the steel provided is more than the steel required for balance section. That is overimposed section. Again, it can be differentiated in terms of strain also. The strain in concrete and steel reaches to its maximum value at the same time. That is, strain in concrete and strain in steel reaches at the same value in balance section. But in underimposed section, since steel area is less than the concrete, the strain in steel reaches its maximum value first, and in overimposed section steel area is more and concrete area is less, so strain in concrete reaches its max value first. On the basis of area of steel, we can conclude that for balanced section AST and AST max are same, while in underimposed section AST required is less than AST max, and in overimposed section AST required is greater than AST max. And according to the depth of neutral axis, the actual neutral axis and limiting neutral axis are same, while in underimposed section XU, that is actual neutral axis, is less than XU max or XU limiting, and in overimposed section XU actual neutral axis is greater than limiting neutral axis. These are the conditions for balanced section, under and overimposed section. So all these notations or assumptions or values are used while designing the beam. So you must write down all these things in a notebook, and from the next lecture we'll start with the design of beam problems. There are two types of problems in design, that is singly designed and doubly designed beam sections. So we'll start in next lecture. Okay, thank you.
काय करू घातले